If you lost it all, still believe in yourself. No one's gonna say you gotta.
Hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Chrissy. This is Kick It with Chrissy, and I'm so excited to kick it with you. Hello, how are you doing today? What is up? How have you been? Let me know down in the comments. If you are new here, I used to be 350 pounds. I am no longer 350 pounds. Yay. And I'm still on my journey, but I'm a lot closer to the end than the beginning. But today I'm very excited because we are talking about a very important part of my journey, which is I have actually had the gastric sleeve. Yes, I did. I took a magic bullet pill. I took the magic pill of getting the gastric sleeve back in the day in 2021, February 9th of 2021. Now, I always say at my highest, I weighed 350 pounds, which is true. But when I decided to have the gastric sleeve, my insurance required a 6-month, clinical period of, test results, health, mental health results and things like that, as prerequisites. I had to go to the gastric sleeve doctor, whatever they're called, once a month for 6 months. And I was not allowed to gain any weight. And I actually had to show that I was making progress on the programs they were putting me on in order to be approved for the gastric sleeve. So when I started my journey preparing for the gastric sleeve, I did weigh 350 pounds. As you will see, at the day of my surgery, the most recent weight to the date of my surgery that they have on file is 309. So your girl did lose some weight before the gastric sleeve. And then once I had the gastric sleeve, I got all the way down to 200 pounds in just under 2 years. Because then I ended up getting knocked up. And I got pregnant and we finally had our rainbow baby. So that is the portion of my life that I will be referring to in reference to the video we are going to be reacting to today. I know that was a really long intro for me, at least, so thank you if you're still here and still interested. But today, we are going to be reacting to Alexandra Rodriguez's we're going to be reacting to A-Rod's video titled "The Truth About If I Regret Gastric Sleeve." I feel like I have a very I got some skin in the game. I got some skin in the game on some gastric sleeve info and how it's affected my life and my opinion on the gastric sleeve and whether I regret it or not. So stick around and hear my opinion at the end. So don't worry, I did preview the video and I skipped all the way to the part where we're actually going to be talking about the gastric sleeve. Thank goodness, because you guys probably don't want to see all of this. But yeah, I skipped to the part where she's actually talking about the gastric sleeve because she titled the video, as you'll be able to see here, she titles the video, "The Truth About If I Regret the Gastric Sleeve." And as you can see, I had to fast forward all the way to almost the 10-minute mark before she actually talked about this. And then she's only talking about it for a couple minutes or like a minute and a half and then moving on with her vlog. So we're only going to be reacting to that small portion, and I'll be giving some of my information or my opinions and some of my journey, just a little bit of my story as well. And yeah, we'll go from there. So without further ado, before I click start, like the video, because I know you're going to like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you've done to try to lose weight. Let me know if you are on a journey. If you're in maintenance phase, let me know all the things. Oh, and let me know how you feel about Alexandra Rodriguez and if you think I should keep reacting to her. So, without further ado, I will shut my mouth and let her stop yap. Or, I will shut my mouth and let her start yapping.
Milk. It tastes like a melted, really
This is
sweet
not
coffee,
important.
creamy coffee. It's really good. It's really good. That's why. Okay, side note, I want to talk about this. I saw such a valid question, and I did reply to the comment, because so much of my life has changed since getting gastric bypass. So many little nuances are different. It affects your life forever.
Yes, major surgery can and will affect your life forever, especially major surgery on your stomach.
It's causing anemia and can't do this, can't do that, whatever. And I've been seeing people ask, do you think it was worth it?
She is pregnant right now with a baby girl, so congratulations. And she is suffering with anemia this pregnancy. Can gastric sleeve cause anemia? Yes, yes, it can. And this is due to the poor absorption of iron and vitamins because they literally slice out a section of your stomach. So, and typically you consume less food and you're not really getting as iron-rich meals. So probably taking supplements. They definitely recommend, they have like very specific bariatric multivitamins that you take and that you are recommended to take to get all of those extra minerals and vitamins in that you may be missing out on. So that was definitely a part of my journey. That was a requirement. I had to take multivitamins every single day. Do I still take them? No, I do not. I don't. When I got pregnant, I stopped taking them. That's the truth. That's the truth. All I wanted the gastric sleeve for was to have a baby. I thought if I lost weight, I would be able to finally get our rainbow baby, and I did, and that's all I cared about. So I stopped taking those vitamins, stopped taking care of myself, which is wild because during pregnancy, that should be like the biggest time of your life to take care of yourself. Like if you're going to take care of yourself, you should do it when you're pregnant. If no other time, do it then. But yeah, I stopped taking them when I got pregnant and never took them again.
Worth it? Like, would you still do it again? Like, since it's affected your life and like you're not skinny. Funny enough, and I'll tell you the truth. Like, I got nothing left to hide. The internet has ripped me to shreds in every form. I don't regret getting gastric bypass because when I got gastric bypass, I was almost 400 pounds, and I'm still under 300 right now, and I'm pregnant. Before I got pregnant, I
She's under 300 pounds, which is wild.
was almost 150 pounds lighter than my heaviest. Almost. I didn't hit my full goal of 250 before, but either way, it has helped me keep off so much weight over the last several years, and it's shifted a lot of my eating habits. Like, I can't just eat a bag of chips or eat a bunch of ice cream because it will make me physically sick. Like, I have to prioritize protein. If I want to have like some carbs or sugar, it can't be that much or it will make me sick, and it has to be after protein. So, and then you're so full from protein, you don't want as much. So it's really
For me, yes, I feel like there has still been changes. I'm 5 years out from my gastric sleeve, so I definitely feel like I struggle. I feel fuller faster, especially eating whole foods. The crazy thing is when I eat ultra processed foods, I was not feeling fuller faster when I ate out all the time. Yes, like I would eat, I guess yes and no. Like I would feel full fast eating a little bit, but I would be hungrier so much faster because all the grease in the ultra processed foods, eating out, all the sugar, dumping syndrome is a huge thing. And I'll pop up what dumping syndrome is for anyone that does not know. That is a huge side effect, huge downside is the dumping syndrome. So your body cannot handle stuff like it used to. But unfortunately, if you've ever struggled with addiction, sometimes the side effects are worth it. And that's what I faced. I struggled with food addiction and I did not heal my relationship with food before I had my gastric sleeve. So even though I was eating less and I was losing weight, I lost over 100 pounds from surgery date to when I got pregnant. I lost over 100 pounds. Even though I was eating less and I did lose weight, I was still eating Chick-fil-A for lunch. I was still eating Chinese 3 or 4 times a week. I would still go to Starbucks and get a venti coffee, and I would get a breakfast sandwich. I would get the brie and grape bowl platter thing. Like all those things that I've told you, if you've seen like some of my previous videos, I was still doing after the gastric sleeve. It just took me longer to do it because of my stomach being smaller. And I dealt with the dumping syndrome, and once the dump happened, then I had room to eat. And they always tell you not to drink your calories, but one of the main things that they recommend when you have the gastric sleeve is to drink protein shakes at the beginning to make sure that you are getting your protein in, because your stomach is so tight freshly from that surgery, you cannot get the amount of protein that you need in at the beginning. And so you end up drinking those calories, and it ends up feeling like it's kind of setting you up for failure almost, because you're told not to drink your calories, as in don't drink sugary drinks, don't drink your sweet teas, don't drink this and that. But they're also telling you, hey, you're not going to be able to eat enough protein that you need, and you need the protein, so you have to drink it, because that's the only way you'll be able to get enough protein in at the beginning. And my mom had the gastric sleeve as well, and to this day, she is, if I'm 5 years out, she might be 7 or 8 years out on her gastric sleeve journey. To this day, there is some meat that she cannot eat. She will eat it and it will literally get stuck in her throat. She has had so many complications from the gastric sleeve. She had extreme acid reflux. She still feels like food gets stuck in her throat even this far out. She because of the GERD, or I think it's called GERD, that she had to have surgery on that, and that surgery caused her to get a blood clot in her lung that almost killed her. For me, I had issues with my gallbladder years later. Literally last year, just a year ago in July, I had to, no, it was Memorial Day, so last May, I was rushed to the hospital by my husband because of having extreme sharp pains in my abdomen for a week straight, like crying, sobbing, like it felt like there was a gas bubble or something. It turns out I had a gallstone that ripped my bile duct, leaking bile into my body, and my body was shutting down. And when I asked the surgeon like how this happened, he said that most of his patients that he sees that has had the gastric sleeve, 70% of his patients that have gallbladder and gallstones, 70% of his patients had the gastric sleeve. And he said, as a surgeon, he does not understand why they don't just pull out the gallbladder the gallbladder when they do the gastric sleeve. And as you can see here, it's the rapid weight loss that can cause it, the forming cholesterol crystals and gallstones, especially in the first 6 to 12 months. Mine happened way later. Mine happened years after, 4 years after, because of my gastric sleeve. And I thought I got lucky, and because I wasn't having any acid reflux or anything. I didn't have any downsides like that. But yeah, 4 years later, I had to get my gallbladder taken out, and I have scars all over my stomach from my gastric sleeve, and a huge scar from my gallbladder removal from last year. All because of the gastric sleeve. So there are definitely side effects that you're not warned about, or if they do warn you, you just like aren't taking it seriously because they don't stress it. But yeah, there's a lot.
Instilled a lot of like dietary changes for me, and like my stomach still, like, no, it's not the same as it first was, where I could hardly eat, but I can still only eat like half or less of what I could fit in my belly beforehand. So it's still made a huge impact on my life. I don't regret it. And like the things that have affected me, I mean, yeah, I got anemia with pregnancy, most likely from the gastric bypass because they removed the part of the stomach that can't absorb iron. But it's fixable, it's solvable. And I think the pros outweigh the cons for me anyway. So that's my truth. That's how I feel. But super valid question. I get it. And a lot of people think they're gonna come out of weight loss surgery, super skinny. A lot of people don't. But it gives you a lot of good tools for your life and your lifestyle. And once baby girl is out, I am definitely getting back on my Healthier Alice Instagram and getting that train rolling again. So I'm gonna get back on WW. I'm super excited about that. Actually, I've been like getting some recipes ready.
Oh my goodness, back on WW. That is all that she talks about the gastric sleeve, so that's all I really wanted to focus on in this video. But I did want to show you the success rate of gastric sleeve. And I really like this because it's broken down into short-term, mid-term, and long-term. So the gastric sleeve has a 50% to 90% success rate depending on the timeline and how success is defined, which is huge. It typically results in 60% to 70% loss of excess weight within the first year, with most patients maintaining 50 to 54% loss after 10 years. So, like I've said before, the gastric sleeve can help jumpstart your weight loss, but it cannot change your whole life. It cannot do the work for you. You have to learn the new habits. You have to put in the work because, yes, initially you will lose a lot of weight because you cannot eat. You physically cannot eat. Your stomach is literally, I cannot remember. I'll put in a picture of what the stomach looks like after the gastric sleeve, but it is tiny, 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 tiny. And the food goes through a lot faster. But in the short term, 1 to 2 years, which is where the greatest weight loss is, averaging 60 to 70%. By bariatric standards, achieving and maintaining 50% of excess weight loss constitutes as a medical success. So, like for me, I have to be 130 pounds to be out of obese, I believe. So I was at 311 minus 130 is 181. So 50% of 181 would have been losing 92.31 pounds. And as I told you, I lost over 100 pounds in the first 2 years. So was I a gastric sleeve success story? Yes, because I lost and maintained over 50% of my excess body weight lost. Midterm, around 5 years, which is where I am now, success rates drop slightly but remain between 85 to 90% as some patients regain minor weight, which, as you know, after I had my daughter, I gained 50 pounds back, which is not minor weight. So I am only a success story still because of me changing my life and actually healing my relationship with food now. Now, in the long term success rate from 41 to 55%, as up to 30% of patients may require a revision to manage weight gain or unresolved medical conditions. Beyond weight loss, the gastric sleeve is highly effective at resolving obesity-related studies. I failed out of baking school, okay? Comorbidities. Studies show type 2 diabetes remission in 60 to 80% of patients and an 80 to 90% success rate of resolving conditions like sleep apnea and asthma. So, I mean, yay, awesome for that, because those are two conditions that are just horrible, scary. I never had either of those. And as you could see on my weight that I showed you, my blood pressure as well. I never had diabetes. I never had sleep apnea yet. And that's why you will hear other people say, and I will always say, just because your labs are okay does not mean you are okay. I was not okay at 311 pounds, 5'2". Not okay. Anyways, yeah. So that is huge. That's a huge success rate. But again, success is in how you are measuring it. Now, most people that will get the gastric sleeve that I saw in the office when I was going in for my appointments, they had way more to lose than just 100 pounds. And can, depending on how much weight you have to lose, you could fall into that 50% to categorize as a success rate. And yes, to this day, my gastric sleeve surgery has helped. Because I have started eating more whole foods, I am a lot fuller, a lot faster. Like I said, because of my gastric sleeve surgery, if I eat things with high sugar content, I still get dumping syndrome. And because I've healed the relationship with food, I no longer just push past that warning sign of, hey, don't put this on your body. I no longer push past that because I am a recovering hinge addict. I am recovered. Every day I make the choice. I am recovered still. Thank the gods. And my gastric sleeve has helped me with that. It was a part of my journey. I did the gastric sleeve for the wrong reasons. I did it because I wanted a quick fix. I did it because my mom did it. I did it because I was 25 and my insurance was about to run out. I did it because, which I don't think this is a bad reason, but because I wanted to have a family. I did not do it to heal my relationship with food, to get healthy, to stay healthy, or to be a good example for that family that I wanted so badly. I just wanted to be snatched and look good, and that's all I wanted. And that was not the case. I mean, I loved the way I looked when I was 200 pounds. My confidence went way up. But confidence is only a very small portion of your mental health, and you don't need weight loss to be confident. As we've seen so many of like the Instagram insanity videos or like the fat cope or whatever, there's a lot of fat creator or body positivity creators or fat liberationists that claim and probably are super confident in their body. They love their body. But that's only a small portion of mental health. And I had to learn that lesson the hard way. With the gastric sleeve, I feel like I was given a lot of good resources, but unfortunately, not every program is the same, and not every program requires as many steps as mine did. And there are some programs that require even more steps than the one that I did. So, because there is such a wide variety in what patients are required to do, depending on what location you go to, the successes can vary widely. There's only so much that having a tiny tummy can do for you if you're not willing to put in the work. Offering people cooking classes, offering people more comprehensive nutrition classes, like really diving deep into why the protein is so important. That protein is the most important, why protein is the most important nutrient. Like right here. It maximizes the satiety. It boosts your metabolism through digestion, and it preserves lean muscle mass. And I will link the studies right here by the National Institute of Health in the description below, where they compile multiple studies that show benefits of switching to a high protein diet versus eating the bare minimum of what is suggested for you. It helps with a weight loss journey if you need it. It provides you the ability to burn more calories, preserves your metabolism. It helps preserve the lean muscle mass if you're going through the rapid weight loss, especially of the gastric sleeve. That's why the protein is so important. And most importantly, for right now in this day and age, that everything is so protein fad right now, the difference between a complete protein and a not complete protein and what to look for. That's one thing that I never learned, and I had no clue that there wasn't a complete protein. That's one thing that people do not tell you about. And a complete protein has to contain all 9 essential amino acids needed by the human body. If you are depriving yourself from if you're depriving yourself from some of these amino acids, you could be missing out on crucial things that you need for your diets. Foods that lack one or more of the essential amino acids are considered incomplete proteins. They are primarily found in plant sources and whole grains. You don't need to consume all 9 amino acids in a single meal to maintain a healthy diet, though. Eating a diverse variety of plant-based foods through the day allow your body to gather all the necessary amino acids naturally. Common complementary pairings include brown rice and beans, or whole wheat toast and peanut butter. So even if you are vegetarian, you can still get complete proteins in. I mean, tempeh, tofu, we've talked about a lot, quinoa, hemp seeds, like all of that can help as well. It doesn't not just have to be animal based, but you do need to be getting in all your amino acids. It's much harder to build your day and build out your plate if you're trying to grab each amino acid individually, but it is very cost effective. It is very satiating if you are on a low income meal trying to eat healthy and want to make sure that you're getting all of your protein, all your amino acids in. The brown rice and beans is a great combo. Whole wheat toast and peanut butter can be expensive. Let's not lie. But brown rice and beans, super inexpensive, and you can get all the amino acids that you need just like that. Sorry, side tangent. But I do feel like the gastric sleeve gave me a fighting chance. So do I regret the gastric sleeve? No, I do not. Because when you have so much weight to lose, it can feel really scary and really big and really daunting, and it can feel like an impossible task. It's not impossible, and there are people that have lost all of their weight naturally, and they did that shit, and congratulations. But if that's not your journey, that's okay, and that doesn't mean that you cheated. That doesn't mean that you took the easy way out, because you can undo the work of anything, even getting your stomach sliced open. You can undo that work. I was on my way to undoing that work, because even though my stomach was small, I had a tiny tummy. If you're not filling it properly, you're not going to fuel your body, and you're going to gain weight, even so. Gastric sleeve can only take you so far. I don't regret the gastric sleeve. Like I said, it's a part of my journey. I appreciate being able to have had the gastric sleeve and being fortunate enough to be able to afford that. But I do feel like there are so many health risks to any surgery. And if you can do it without the gastric sleeve, or even these days with the GLP-1s, they are kind of new and there may be side effects that we don't even know about yet in the long term. I hope not, or I hope at least they're not like negative side effects or too negative that they're detrimental. But if you can do it naturally, I always recommend doing it that way. But just because you don't do it naturally and your whole journey isn't only natural weight loss, it doesn't make you any less. It doesn't make you a cheater. It doesn't make you lazy. It doesn't make you any less than someone that has done it naturally. I don't think there should be any gatekeeping when it comes to weight loss, and however you get there, as long as you get there healthfully and you're learning your lessons along the way, it all goes to the finish line. And ultimately, what do we want? A healthier world. So we can raise another generation that has way better health than we could ever dream of as a kid. It all starts with one choice every day. Whether that choice is to move more for you, whether it's to switch all your drinks to zero sugar drinks, whether it's to eat 75% of your plate at a meal and give yourself 20 minutes to wait and see if you're full, whether it is writing in a gratitude journal as your first step. All it takes is one step and you deciding that you are ready to change your life and that your trauma is not the most interesting thing about you anymore. Those are my thoughts. That is part of my story. What do you guys think about gastric sleeves or like magic bullets of weight loss? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments below how you guys are feeling. If you've had the gastric sleeve, what your experiences are with gastric sleeve, GLP-1s, things like that. And thank you so much for kicking it with me. And until next time, however I find you, because you know I'm gonna find you. Bye bye.
If you lost it all, still believe in yourself. No one's come to say you gotta